The subcommittee will come to order. First, let me welcome FEMA Administrator Fugate and all of our distinguished witnesses and thank them for testifying this morning. Today's hearing on FEMA reauthorization and examining how we can cut the red tape and helping communities rebuild and recover following a disaster. At our hearing in March, we focused on how prepared we are to respond to a catastrophic disaster in the wake of the earthquake and tsunami in Japan. Today, we will look at what happens next. After the initial response, how do we help communities pick up the pieces and recover quickly? So far this year, we've had 48 major disaster declarations, from tornadoes hitting communities in states like Missouri, Alabama, and Tennessee, to flooding in Vermont and Mississippi and wildfires in Texas. 32 states so far this year have had major disaster declarations, 9 states have had emergency declarations, and 12 states had a total of 79 fire management assistance declarations. And this is without any major hurricanes yet this hurricane season. After the initial response, communities are left with homes destroyed, businesses and stores damaged and closed, roads blocked, and lives lost. Cleaning up, rebuilding, and recovering quickly from disasters is critical. We know from experience the longer the rebuilding and recovery takes, the higher the cost to the taxpayer. The longer people are without jobs and schools for their children, and the more local governments lose in revenue. A long recovery hurts everyone, not least of which are the people who have lost everything. Our subcommittee has held hearing after hearing to learn the lessons from Hurricane Katrina and find ways to speed up the recovery process. Many of FEMA's regulations and policies have created so many hurdles and so much red tape that communities devastated by disasters have often found it frustrating to navigate the process. For example, in 2000, Congress enacted the Disaster Mitigation Act and included provisions requiring FEMA to implement cost estimating to help communities rebuild faster. By all accounts, this one change could help streamline one of FEMA's key disaster assistance programs. However, it's now 11 years later, and FEMA has yet to implement those provisions. I understand FEMA now is engaged in a bottom-up review of its public assistance program, is in the process of finalizing a national disaster recovery framework, and is testing a new debris removal pilot program. While I'm pleased to see these steps are being taken, I'm worried these actions have taken just too long. With high unemployment, budget deficits, and everyone having to tighten their belts, we just simply cannot afford to have these recoveries drag on. I hope today we can hear from our witnesses on how the recovery process can be streamlined and improved. I also hope we can receive input on FEMA's reauthorization and what changes may need to be made as we consider legislation. FEMA was originally created in 1979 by executive order and operated for nearly 30 years without explicit authorization in statute. FEMA was authorized in statute in 2006 through the Post-Katrina Act, and that authorization expired last year. While FEMA can continue to operate without explicit authorization, authorizing FEMA in the law helps provide congressional guidance in the operations of the agency. I look forward to working with Administrator Fugate, members of this committee, and other stakeholders on the reauthorization of FEMA. I again thank the witnesses for being here today to address these important issues. I'd now like to recognize Ranking Member Norton from the District of Columbia for 5 minutes to make any opening statement she may have.